Simpler. Most people don't fail because they lack opportunity. They fail because they keep waiting for the perfect moment that never comes. Let me tell you something uncomfortable if your life hasn't changed yet. It's not because you can't change it. It's because you haven't decided to. Change doesn't happen by chance, it happens by choice. Not by luck, not by waiting, not by hoping that one day things will suddenly become easier. Real change begins in a moment so quiet, yet so powerful it's the moment you decide. There are people who wake up every day carrying the same dreams, the same pain, the same excuses. They wait for a sign, for the right time, for conditions to improve. But deep inside, they know something is missing. That missing piece is not opportunity, it's decision. Because nothing in your life shifts until something shifts inside you. You feel it, don't you? That silent discomfort when you realize you're capable of more, yet still standing in the same place. That heaviness when days turn into months and months into years, but your life looks the same. It's not because you're weak, it's because you've been postponing the moment of truth, the moment where you take full responsibility. And responsibility is not easy. It forces you to face yourself without filters, without excuses. It asks you to admit that where you are today is the result of the choices you've been making, not fate, not people, not circumstance, choice. And with that realization comes something powerful, accountability before your Creator. Because every ability you have, every breath you take, every opportunity placed in your path, none of it is random. You are given time, energy, and potential as a trust that asks, what are you doing with what you've been given? There is a verse that reminds us that a person's condition does not change until they change what is within themselves. That truth is not just spiritual, it's deeply personal. It speaks directly to the part of you that knows you were meant for more, that your life has purpose, that you are not here to live small or remain stuck. Yet change requires sacrifice. It requires letting go of comfort, of habits that feel safe but are quietly destroying your progress. It requires waking up when you don't feel like it, pushing forward when your energy is low, and choosing discipline over temporary relief. And that's where most people hesitate because choice is heavy. Choosing to change means choosing discomfort. Choosing to grow means choosing struggle. Choosing to improve means facing parts of yourself you've been avoiding. But within that struggle is something sacred. Every step you take towards becoming better is seen. Every effort, even the smallest one, carries weight. Even when no one else notices, your intention, your struggle, your persistence, none of it is lost. Sometimes the tears you hide, the silent prayers you whisper, the battles you fight within yourself, those are the very moments shaping your transformation. And maybe that's what hurts the most, the realization that you've had the power all along, but you kept giving it away to fear, to doubt, to delay. You kept telling yourself, I'll start tomorrow, but tomorrow has been repeating itself for far too long. There comes a point where you have to stop negotiating with your own potential, where you stop making excuses for the life you know you don't want, where you stop waiting for motivation and start honoring the responsibility you carry. Because deep down, you already know the truth. You know what you need to do. You know what you've been avoiding. You know the habits that are holding you back. And every day you ignore that inner voice, it doesn't get quieter, it gets heavier. That weight you feel, it's not pressure from the world. It's the pressure of unrealized potential. Your daily habits are shaping your future, whether you notice or not. Not the big decisions you think about once in a while, but the small actions you repeat every single day. What you do when no one is watching, how you spend your time when you're alone, the choices you make when it's easier to take the shortcut, that's what is quietly building your life. You may not see the results today. You may not feel the impact tomorrow. But slowly, consistently, your habits are writing your story. A few wasted hours don't seem dangerous. One missed effort doesn't feel like failure. One day of procrastination feels harmless. But when those days begin to repeat, they don't stay small anymore. They turn into weeks. Weeks turn into months. And one day you wake up and realize you didn't end up here by accident. You arrived here by repetition. And that realization can be painful because it forces you to confront something real. Your habits have been deciding your direction more than your dreams. You can dream of success, growth, peace. But if your daily actions don't align with those dreams, then your habits will always overpower your intentions. That's why discipline matters more than motivation. Motivation is emotional, it comes and goes. But habits are mechanical, they continue whether you feel like it or not. And here's where it becomes deeper than just self-improvement. Every single day you've been given is not random. It's a trust, a gift, a responsibility. The time you wake up with, the energy you carry, the opportunities placed in front of you, they are not meant to be wasted. There is a reminder that every small deed is accounted for, even the weight of something as tiny as a grain. which means your habits are not just shaping your future in this world, they are being recorded with meaning beyond what you can see. Think about that. The effort you put in, the discipline you struggle to maintain, even the moments you choose to do what is right instead of what is easy, none of it is lost. But neither are the moments of neglect, the time you knew better but chose comfort, the opportunities you delayed, the effort you avoided, and that's where the emotional weight sits. Because deep down, you already know which habits are building you and which ones are quietly breaking you. You feel it when you waste time and call it rest. You feel it when you delay something important and tell yourself later. You feel it when you choose comfort over growth. That discomfort isn't random. It's awareness. It's the part of you that knows you were created for more, that your time has value, that your life is not meant to be lived on autopilot. Your habits are either honoring that purpose or slowly taking you away from it. And the hardest truth to accept is this: you don't need a completely new life to change your future. You need new habits. Because the future you keep thinking about, it's already being built today in the smallest decisions you make. Responsibility is the starting point of transformation. Not talent, not luck, not perfect timing, just responsibility. The moment you stop pointing outward and start looking inward, everything begins to shift. Because as long as you blame circumstances, people, or your past, you remain stuck in a place where you have no control. Blame feels comfortable, but it quietly steals your power. It gives you a reason to stay the same while convincing you it's not your fault. But responsibility does the opposite. It's heavy. It's uncomfortable. It forces you to face truths you've been avoiding. It makes you admit that where you are right now is connected to the choices you've made, the habits you've allowed, and the standards you've accepted. And that realization can hit deep because it removes every excuse you've been holding on to. No more "I didn't have time." No more "they held me back." No more "it just didn't work out." Just you and the truth. But hidden inside that weight is something powerful: control. The moment you take responsibility, you take your power back. Because if your choices created your current reality, then new choices can create a different one. That's where transformation begins. Not when things get easier, but when you get honest. There's a spiritual depth to this that most people overlook. You've been given awareness, ability, and opportunity not as accidents, but as a trust. A trust that asks you to account for your actions, your time, your effort. You are not responsible for everything that has happened to you, but you are responsible for what you do next. And that's the part that defines you. Every delay, every excuse, every moment you ignore what you know you should do, it builds a gap between who you are and who you're meant to become. You feel that gap sometimes, don't you? That quiet frustration, that internal tension, that feeling that you could be doing more, becoming more, living better. That feeling is not there to punish you. It's there to wake you up. Responsibility means you stop running from that feeling and start responding to it. It means you own your mornings. You own your decisions. You own your discipline. Even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Because growth doesn't come from comfort, it comes from ownership. And ownership changes everything. When you take responsibility, your mindset shifts. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What can I do about it?" Or you stop waiting and start acting. You stop hoping for change and start becoming the reason it happens. And in that process, something inside you strengthens. You become more aware, more disciplined, more intentional. Not because life suddenly becomes easy, but because you finally stopped avoiding your role in it. There's a deep accountability in knowing that nothing you do is unseen. Your efforts, your struggles, your decisions, they all carry weight. Even the moments where no one else is watching, you are still choosing who you are becoming. And that's what makes responsibility powerful. It connects your actions to meaning. It turns your daily choices into something that matters. It turns your struggle into growth. It turns your effort into progress. But it all begins with a simple, difficult decision to stop blaming and start owning. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Not because comfort is evil, but because it's addictive. It feels safe. It feels easy. It feels like peace. But in reality, it slowly holds you in the same place while convincing you that you're okay. And that's the danger. Because nothing in your life truly improves when everything around you stays comfortable. Growth doesn't live in ease, it lives in resistance, in effort, in the moments where you have to push beyond what feels natural. Think about it. Every time you choose comfort over discipline, you delay your progress. Every time you avoid something difficult, you weaken your ability to face challenges. Every time you say, "I'll do it later," you quietly train yourself to stay the same. And the hardest part is you don't notice it immediately. Comfort doesn't destroy you overnight. It does it slowly, quietly, patiently. Days of ease turn into weeks of inaction. Weeks turn into months of stagnation. And one day you look at your life and wonder why nothing has changed. But deep down, you know, Simpler. It wasn't lack of opportunity. It wasn't lack of ability. It was the repeated choice of what felt easy over what was necessary. That realization carries weight because it forces you to face a truth. Most people try to avoid you've been choosing temporary comfort over long-term growth. And comfort always comes with a hidden cost. It steals your discipline. It weakens your focus. It lowers your standards. It makes you settle in places you were never meant to stay. There's something inside you that resists this, though. That uneasy feeling when you waste time, that guilt when you avoid responsibility, that quiet voice telling you you should be doing more. That's not pressure. That's awareness. It's the part of you that knows you weren't created to live a life of ease without purpose, that your time has value, that your potential is not meant to stay unused. And there's a deeper layer to this. You've been given strength, ability, and time as a trust. Not so you can remain comfortable, but so you can strive, improve, and grow. Because ease without effort leads to regret, while struggle with purpose leads to meaning. Every moment you choose discipline over comfort, you honor that trust. Every time you push yourself when it's hard, you move closer to who you're meant to become. But growth will always feel uncomfortable. It will test your patience. It will stretch your limits. It will demand more from you than you think you can give. And that's why most people avoid it. They want results without discomfort, progress without effort, change without sacrifice. But it doesn't work that way. You cannot stay in comfort and expect transformation, because the version of you that lives in comfort is not the version of you that grows. Growth begins the moment you step out of what feels safe and step into what challenges you. The early mornings you don't feel like waking up, the work you keep postponing, the habits you know you need to break. That's where growth is waiting, not in ease, but in effort, not in comfort, but in resistance. And every time you choose the harder path, even when no one sees it, you are building something within yourself that comfort could never give: strength, discipline, and purpose. Because comfort may feel good for a moment, but growth is what gives your life meaning. Consistency beats intensity every time. Not because intensity has no value, but because it doesn't last. Anyone can be intense for a day. Anyone can feel motivated for a moment. Anyone can push hard when emotions are high. But very few people can show up again and again when they don't feel like it. And that's where the real difference is made. Because your life is not shaped by what you do occasionally, it's shaped by what you do repeatedly. A single burst of effort might feel powerful. You push yourself, you work harder than usual, you feel proud for a moment. But if that effort disappears the next day, it doesn't build anything lasting. It's like trying to fill a container with water, but only pouring once in a while. No matter how much you pour in one moment, if there's no consistency, it never truly fills. And that's what happens in life. People rely on intensity because it feels productive. It gives the illusion of progress. It creates a temporary high that makes you believe you're moving forward. But progress isn't built on how hard you go once it's built on how often you keep going. Consistency is quiet, doesn't feel exciting. It doesn't always give immediate results. Sometimes it feels like nothing is happening at all. You wake up, you do the work. No applause, no recognition, just repetition. And that's where most people give up. Because they don't see instant change, they assume it's not working. But what they don't realize is consistency is working beneath the surface. Every small action is stacking. Every repeated effort is building something unseen. And one day it shows, not suddenly but inevitably. There's something deeply meaningful about this when you reflect on it beyond just results. Every day you show up with discipline. Even when your energy is low, every moment you choose effort over excuses. Every time you stay committed when no one is watching, those moments carry weight. They are not ignored. They are not wasted. Even the smallest consistent action has value because it reflects sincerity, patience, and discipline. And those qualities are not just building your future, they are shaping who you are becoming. Think about how many times you relied on motivation, how many times you waited to feel ready, how many times you started strong but couldn't continue. That cycle is exhausting because intensity burns fast, but consistency endures. Consistency is choosing to act when your feelings don't support you. It's showing up when it's inconvenient. It's doing the work when there's no immediate reward. And that's not easy. There are days you won't feel like trying, days where progress feels invisible, days where stopping feels easier than continuing. And those are the days that matter the most, because that's where your commitment is tested. Not when it's easy, but when it's difficult. You don't build strength by doing something once with maximum effort. You build strength by doing something repeatedly, even when your effort feels small. That's how habits are formed. That's how discipline is built. That's how transformation happens, slowly, quietly, consistently. And there's a truth that sits deep within this. You don't need to do everything perfectly to move forward. You just need to keep going. simpler, even if the step is small, even if the progress feels slow, even if no one else notices. Because over time, those small steps become distance. That repetition becomes strength. That discipline becomes identity. And what once felt difficult becomes part of who you are. Your standards determine your results, not your wishes, not your intentions or standards. Because at the end of the day, you don't get what you hope for, you get what you're willing to accept. And that's where it becomes uncomfortable. If you tolerate procrastination, your life will reflect delay. If you accept average effort, your results will stay average. If you allow distractions to control your time, your progress will always feel limited. It's not because you're incapable. It's because your standards have quietly allowed it. Standards are invisible rules you set for yourself. They decide what you consider good enough. They define what you allow and what you refuse. Simpler. And most people never question them. They say they want success, but they tolerate laziness. They say they want discipline, but they accept inconsistency. They say they want a better life, but they keep allowing habits that hold them back. That contradiction is where results get blocked, because your life will always align with your standards, not your desires. You feel this truth in moments of honesty, when you know you could have done better, but you let it slide. When you realize you're capable of more, but you didn't demand it from yourself. That quiet disappointment, that inner discomfort, that's your awareness reminding you your standards are too low for the life you want. And raising your standards is not easy. It requires you to stop negotiating with yourself, to stop making excuses sound reasonable, to stop justifying behaviors that you know are holding you back. It means you hold yourself accountable even when no one else does. It means I'll do it later is no longer acceptable. It means this is enough is questioned. It means you start asking yourself, is this really the level I'm willing to live at? There's a deeper layer to this. You've been given time, ability, and opportunity as a trust. And with that comes responsibility not just to live, but to live with intention. Lowering your standards isn't just limiting your results, it's neglecting what you are capable of becoming. And that realization carries weight, because deep down you know your potential is higher than your current actions. You know you can be more disciplined, more focused, more consistent, but your standards have been allowing less. And whatever you allow continues. If you allow excuses, they will repeat. If you allow comfort to override discipline, it will grow stronger. If you allow yourself to settle, your life will settle with you. But the moment your standards rise, everything begins to shift. When just okay is no longer acceptable, your effort increases. When excuses are no longer tolerated, your discipline strengthens. When you demand more from yourself, your actions start to reflect it. And that's when your results begin to change. Because you start doing things you once avoided. You start showing up in ways you didn't before. You start closing the gap between who you are and who you know you can become. But it all starts with a decision to stop accepting less than what you're capable of. Commitment matters more than motivation, because motivation is a feeling, and feelings are unstable. Some days you feel strong, focused, ready to take on anything. And on those days, everything seems easy. But then there are days when your energy drops, your mind feels heavy, your drive disappears. And if your progress depends on motivation, those days will stop you. That's why so many people start, but never continue. They wait to feel ready. They wait to feel inspired. They wait for the perfect mood to take action. But life doesn't wait for your feelings to align, and neither does success. Commitment is different. It doesn't ask how you feel. It doesn't depend on your mood. It doesn't disappear when things get hard. Commitment says, I will do this whether I feel like it or not. And that's where real change begins. Because the truth is, most of your important decisions in life will not come with motivation. They will come with resistance. There will be days you don't feel like waking up early, days you don't feel like putting in the effort, days you don't feel like continuing at all. And those are the days that define you. Not the days when everything feels right, but the days when nothing does and you still show up. That's commitment. It's choosing discipline over comfort. It's choosing action over excuses. It's choosing long-term growth over short-term relief. And it's not easy. Because commitment requires sacrifice. It asks you to give up distractions, to let go of habits that feel good but hold you back, to stay focused even when no one is watching, even when there's no immediate reward. And sometimes it feels lonely, because not everyone around you will understand why you're pushing yourself. Not everyone will see the effort you're putting in. But commitment is not about being seen, it's about being true to your decision. There's a deeper weight to this. You've been given time, ability, and opportunity not as something temporary to waste, but as a responsibility. And how you show up, especially when it's difficult, reflects what you truly value. Every moment you choose to stay committed, even when your motivation is gone, even when your energy is low, those moments carry meaning. They are shaping your character. They are strengthening your discipline. They are proving to yourself that you can be relied on. And that's powerful. Because when you become someone who keeps their word to themselves, everything changes. You stop depending on feelings. You stop starting and stopping. You stop living in cycles of excitement and burnout. Instead, you become steady. And steady progress is what builds real results. Motivation will inspire you to begin, but it will never be enough to carry you through. Only commitment can do that. Because when you are truly committed, you don't ask, do I feel like it? You ask, what needs to be done? So here's the question you need to ask yourself. How long are you going to wait before you decide? Because the life you want isn't far away. It's hidden inside the decisions you've been avoiding. Make the choice today. Not tomorrow, not someday, today. Because once you decide, everything begins to change.